sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X. Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born!
I'll be at full power, and I'll be unstoppable!
Frolic!
Enough with the laughing and frolicking!
Sorry, boss.
As I was saying, I'll be I won't let you...
Donnie!
The reign of Stanicorn has finally begun. I'm unstoppable! What? Girls?
Ever since he was younger, he was colorblind. Similar to how dogs see the world, he could only see shades of gray. As he grew up, it was just something he had become accustomed to. Nothing really wrong with it. He learned to love it, in fact. Seeing the world in a way no one else around he could, finding the beauty in the darkness, this was his life. He'd never known anything other than the grace of the world. Somehow, things were so normal in his gray world that he never truly wondered about the other colors people could see. Although they had been described to him, he couldn't truly picture them. He found serenity in her grace, regardless of everyone else's color.
The world is full of different colors, and we should consider ourselves lucky to witness the world with full of color because some people cannot. Just like cats who can't see the full range of color, there are also some people who cannot see every color in the world. The condition they have is called color blindness. To further explain the condition called color blindness, its causes, impact, testing mechanisms, and ways of coping that people with color blindness have, let us all welcome Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
Color blindness are most common in men than in women. The reason is the genes responsible for the color blindness is carried on the X chromosomes, explaining the reason why men are more affected by this condition.
In our eyes, we have a retina that contains two light detecting cells called rods and cones. Rod cells help us see in low light condition and do not detect colors. Rod cells only have one type, unlike the cone cells. Cone cells comes in three color: red, green, and blue. As they what you may ask, why does it comes in three colors? These three colors mix and match inside our brain. Like for example, mixing red and green, its outcomes would be yellow. Color blindness is often misunderstood condition. Many assume because of its name that colorblind means a person can only see black and white. In actually, the vast majority of people with color blindness do see color, but they see a much narrower range of color. Approximately 75% of those color impartment are green diminish. Most of these remaining red diminish. Red-green color imparted is sex-linked with the vast majority being male. The deficiency results in red and greens being perceived as shades of yellow. Therefore, red and green images presented to the public will not illustrate regions of distinct to these individuals.
How color blindness is acquired. According to study, men have a much higher risk than women for color blindness. You are also more likely to have color blindness if you have a family history of color blindness, have certain eye diseases like glaucoma or age-related macular degeneration or AMD, have certain health problems like diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, or multiple sclerosis or MS. Colorblind people face many difficulties in everyday life which normally sighted people just aren't aware of. Problems can arise in even the simplest of activities, including choosing and preparing of food, gardening, sport, driving a car, and selecting which clothes to wear. Colorblind people can also find themselves in trouble because they haven't been able to pick up a change in someone's mood by a change in color of their face, or not notice their child getting sunburned.
Color blindness can affect access to education, exam grades, and career choice. Color blindness does not only come in one type. There are three types of color blindness, and we are here to discuss it for you to be aware. Many people think that a colorblind person only sees black and white, but some can see colors too. The most common kind of color blindness are genetic, meaning they are passed down from parents. Color blindness can also happen because of damage to your eye or your brain, and color vision may get worse as you get older, often because of cataracts or cloudy areas in the lens of the eye.
There are three types of color blindness. The first one is the red and green color blindness. Red and green color blindness have three parts. Four parts. Haha, sorry, I forgot. Red and green color blindness have four parts. The first one is the deuteranomaly, which is the most common type of red-green color blindness. It makes green looks more red. This type is mild and doesn't usually get in the way of normal activities. The next one is the protanomaly, which makes red more green and less bright. This type is mild and it usually doesn't get in the way of normal activities. The third and the fourth one is the protanopia and deuteranopia, which makes you unable to tell the difference between red and green at all.
The blue and yellow color blindness. This less common type of color blindness make it hard to tell the difference between the blue and green and between yellow and red. There are three types of blue-yellow color blindness. The first one is trichonomaly or make it hard to tell the difference between the blue and green and between yellow and red. The second one is trithanobia, makes you unable to tell the difference between blue and green, purple and red, and yellow and pink. It also makes colors look less bright. And the third one is triton. Type of color vision is characterized by a loss of color discrimination for shades of blue and yellow. Unfortunately, chroma glasses are unlikely to help trichonomaly and tritanopia. Blue-yellow color blindness, as the glasses are mainly effective for red-green color blindness.
The third type of color blindness is the completely color blindness. Achromatopsia is a condition characterized by a partial or total absence of color vision. People with complete achromatopsia cannot perceive any colors. They only see black, white, and shades of gray. Incomplete achromatopsia is a milder form of the condition that allows some color discrimination. Here are some tips for people who have color blindness. First, ask about special contact lenses or glasses. They won't solve every problem or make you see normally, but check with your doctor to see how they might work for you. Second, focus on lighting. If you can control the lighting in your house, cube, or office, do it. Plenty of bright, natural light is best, and try to avoid glare. And the third one is to use smartphone apps. They can name colors for you, make it easier to tell colors apart, and even show your friends and family how you see the world.
Ha! I am back again. Here are some tips if you are living with color blindness. When you are colorblind, basic tasks like driving or picking a ripe apple can get a lot harder, but they don't always have to be. From labeling your clothes to using apps, there are a lot of ways you can make your life just a little bit easier. First, when choosing clothes, you can use an app that helps you find out the color of the clothes. Or you can ask a family member to label the color of your clothes so it won't be a hassle to mix and match your outfit. Cooking food, especially meat, is hard because you can see its color since the color of the food you are cooking is the best way to know if it's cooked or not. You can use thermometer to determine the temperature of the food and a temperature chart that shows the right temperature if the food is cooked or not. The third one is managing at work. Charts, graphs, and presentation that burst with colors can make your job almost impossible. You can ask that images and graphs always have labeled and text to fully explain them. You can also send along links from software markers for how to create materials that are more useful to you. For example, Microsoft has tools and tips on designing PowerPoint slides, and that works well with people who are colorblind.
Tips for living with color blindness. When driving, of course, you have to obey the rules of the road, and one of it is the traffic lights. Always remember the top part of a traffic light is stop. Middle is caution, meaning the light is about to change, and bottom is go. Traffic lights placed horizontally, left is stop, middle is caution, and right is go. 4. Dealing with electronics. Red means battery is low. Green means that your battery is charged. And if you can tell the difference, it means that your electronics can gives you fit. For simpler devices, there may be no getting around it, but sometimes you can set up sounds or other cues instead. For example, Apple computers have a setting called differentiate without colors. Check the box and you'll get shapes to guide you instead of just colors. Smartphones have options too. On iPhones with iOS 10 and later, you can use filters to help you tell colors apart. And Android phones running version 5.0 and higher offers color correction that can set based on what colors you're able to see.
Tips for living with color blindness number 5. Handling school challenges. If your child is colorblind, it's hard to color grass when they don't know which crayon is green. The first step is to talk to the teacher and explain how you or your child sees color. From there, you can ask teacher to create handouts that use only black ink on white paper, label paints and other art supplies with basic names, let you sit in front and center so you have a good view of the chalkboard, and use labels or patterns for tasks that rely on color like red triangle instead of just triangle. Number 6. Picking fruits and vegetables. For a lot of fruits and veggies, you can look for other signs. Pineapple should feel heavy, smell sweet, and have leaves you can pluck off easily. You want asparagus with tight buds and straight stalks. And avocados need to have a little give but not too much when you press on them. Number 7. Understanding test results. There are a lot of tests out there that use color to show results, like for swimming pools and garden soil. In some cases, you can find kits that use digital display instead. If not, you may be able to find an organization, like a local college, to run the test and give you results you can use.
There are many ways of getting tested for color blindness. A colorblind test, or also known as the Ishihara color test, measures your ability to tell the difference among colors. If you don't pass this test, you may have poor color vision, or your doctor may tell you that you are colorblind. The Ishihara test is a color perception test for red and green color deficiencies. The first in the class of successful color vision tests called pseudo-isochromatic plates. The doctors will ask you to look at a series of circles, also called the plates, with dots of different colors and size. Some of the dots may form shapes or 1 or 2 digit numbers. If you have trouble seeing red and green, those shapes will be hard to see, or you may not see them at all. The next type of colorblind test is the red and green colorblind test. The most common type of color blindness makes it hard to tell the difference between red and green. The next one is the Triton color blind test. The most common type of color blindness makes it hard to tell the difference between blue and yellow. And the last one is the Cambridge color test, and it provides a rapid means of screening subjects for color vision deficiencies, but it also can be used to examine in more details the change in color discrimination.
Modern solution for people with color blindness. Color blindness have no cure, but there are ways for a person who is colorblind to see colors again. In these modern days, doctors have developed ways to let colorblind people see again through contact lenses and glasses. The lens, developed by a team at the University of Birmingham, uses an inexpensive dye that helps people to better differentiate between red and green colors. And chroma glasses are designed to improve color vision of people with forms of anomalous trichromacy, which are estimated to comprise 4 out of 5 cases of color blindness. The most common types are protonomaly and deuteranomaly, which are forms of partial red-green color blindness. We must always remember, whatever disability a person have, whether it is something we cannot see, we must respect and learn to help them because having such condition is not an easy thing.
Furthermore, everyone sees color a little differently. Even people who aren't colorblind. About 1 in 12 men are colorblind. Most people with color blindness are born with it, but sometimes it doesn't show up with until later in life.